guys, welcome to Buddies and Blockbuster. I'm your host AJ. And yes, I had a movie marathon over the weekend. I watched A Quiet Place Day 1 as well as Twisters. Kind of late about A Quiet Place, about 2 weeks late. I did want to watch it mainly because I was a big fan of the initial installment and the second one as well. So this franchise has always been unique and something that I look forward to. And we have A Quiet Place Day 1, which is basically answering the question of, okay, we have these creatures that's there in the first two installments. How did they come in? How did all of this happen? How did they figure out to be quiet? This movie kind of addresses that, and that was kind of the sole reason on why this installment is there. Now, keep in mind the whole cast of what you're expecting in the first two installments not there. It's a complete new cast. We have Peter Nyong'o. Apologies if I'm, not pronouncing the last name correct, but she's in a lot of movies, but she's the sole lead in this movie. Guess what? Eddie Munson from the Stranger Things. I mean, I'm talking about Joseph Quinn. And somebody who I really like from Stranger Things is also here. So that's why I was kind of looking forward to it a bit more. In terms of the plot, it's basically the same kind of vibe that you've known from the initial two installments. And just this is my opinion. I don't think the first part, A Quiet Place can ever be topped because that was so unique, shocking, fear, and so different. The way how it was captured by John Krasinski, I don't think that's ever gonna kind of repeat value. Even though the second installment did have the same kind of vibe, I did like it. It's never gonna top what the first part did, right? I think it's the same piece for here, but I did have a certain amount of expectation, mainly to understand what's going on. In terms of the story, it revolves around, Lupita, basically, who's somebody who's kind of given up on life in a way because of her illness, the medical component that she's going through. Doesn't want to be bothered. She's like super rude and mean, and she just wants to be done with life. And she's in the medical facility trying, with a couple of therapy groups and stuff like that, and she just doesn't want to have any part of it. And all of a sudden, have these creatures that show up, right? And she's in New York. It happens in the city. They're really at the crux of it, and it's basically kind of the same survival stint and mode that we have seen in the last two installments. It's basically the same here, but in the city, and it's all new, and there's more damage because crazy have a lot of these alien creatures killing everybody. Did it address what I was looking for in the movie? Maybe, I guess, but I would have expected it, again, my opinion, I would have expected it to be more of show me the reason on how you realize silence is the way to evade these creatures and not get killed, right? It just transitioned to like a scene where we have a bunch of people hiding in a building, pin drop silence, and Sammy just walks into it, and one of the characters basically say, you gotta be quiet, right? I wanted more of understanding how they figured that piece out, and that was kind of the main reason. Initial 50 minutes is something that I was hooked on, because when you look at the previous two installments, I was hooked throughout the whole movie. Like I was like in there. It's gripping. Don't know what's going to happen next. But in this piece, I didn't have that same feeling. Although it was an hour and 40 minutes, which is on the shorter end, there were a couple of clips that was a bit draggy, and I get it. You're showcasing a character's arc, letting the audience know that this is what he or she is feeling. I thought that was a bit draggy compared to what we have seen and what we have been exposed to in the other two installments. The other piece was, the creatures. The weakness is they don't swim. They can't handle water, right? As soon as they go into water, they drown, they die, and that's it. And we have a couple of folks escaping in ships and a couple of, mini boats and stuff like that. How did they figure that piece out? Those were just rushed into. I feel it would have been a good job to showcase those two elements instead of these draggy scenes. That would have been a bit more better. In terms of the bond between Sammy and Eric, I think that was good, the back and forth, because both of them were really scared, and it's like the fear is showcased, and Eric does a great job in showcasing that fear, and you could see it in his eyes and the way how he kind of goes about stuff, whereas she's more of kind of a badass. She's a bit more cooler, maybe because she has this mindset of, you know what, I anyway want to die, so I might as well die. I don't care. I am scared, but I wouldn't regret if I lose my life right now, compared to Joseph Quinn, who's like, oh God, I need to escape. I want to live a bit. The one piece I need to say is the pet. So Sammy has a cat. In my whole life, I've never seen a cat being so disciplined and so quiet throughout this whole thing. Keep in mind, these folks are running, going through small spots, tunnels, water, like swimming a bit, all along when you have this cat with you. Cat is just quiet now. He is naughty. He just goes, of course, to places that he shouldn't, and it's just the job of the two of them to go and rescue him, which is like crazy. But that was like really surprising. I'm like, kudos to whoever has this cat, because that cat is the most obedient pet that I've ever seen. And there were jump scares. Maybe it's just me. I'm a scatty cat when it comes to horror movies. It was not just me, though. Everybody else in the theater taking a bit in those jump scare moments. So
Pussy.
so that was fine. It's okay. But like I said, the initial 50 minutes was good. And after that, it was like, okay, I know where this is going. It doesn't have the gripping feeling that I expect off of a Quiet Place genre. And the one piece that I came to me was I really missed the cast of the other two movies. John Krasinski, Emily Blunt, that family component, definitely something that I was missing. Nothing to take away from the movie, but I feel it played an essential role in making this franchise what it is, right? Aside from that, I think I had a good time. It was more of a okay, average movie. You might as well just wait for it to come to a streaming platform and give it a watch, mainly to understand how all of this just happened. It was a good attempt. I wish they could have done better aside from that. But what do you guys think of this franchise? Out of the three, which is your favorite? Do you still like the OG, or are you okay with this new pod that's come in? Put it in the comments. Let's have a conversation. Aside from that, be sure to like, subscribe, and share.